So, Hare Krishna, dear ladies, and welcome to the June Urban Devi Sangha and Women's Discussion Group. A special welcome to those joining us for the first time. If you are joining us for the first time, please write it in the chat so that we can all say hello. I promise that we're a very friendly and welcoming group, and we'd love to hear from you. And even if you're returning, please write down where you're checking in from. We'd love to know where in the world you are. So my name is Damodar Priya Devi Dasi, and I co-host this monthly gathering with our dear Rukmini Devi Dasi or Rukmini Walker, as well as my god sisters, Surabhi Govinda Devi Dasi and Narataki Radha Devi Dasi. And let me introduce our guest speaker for today. Sukhavaha Devi Dasi was born and raised a Protestant minister's daughter. And Sukhavaha graduated with a bachelor's degree in social welfare from Pennsylvania State University in 1974. In 1975, at the age of 21, she accepted initiation from her guru, Srila Prabhupada. She was ordained an Interfaith Minister in September of 1992, and with decades of training in various healing and coaching modalities, she empowers spiritual seekers to address their buried emotions in order to assist in their relationships and spiritual development. She's dedicated to showing that profound yet simple power of emotional maturity, of choosing words carefully. And so because of that, she's authored 4 books: Revealing the Heart, The Practice of Compassion; Finding the Gap, Some Truth About the Lies We Tell Ourselves; Entering the Gap, More Truth About the Lies We Tell Ourselves; and What to Do About Sue, a memoir of her deprogramming at the age of 22. She's also currently a course facilitator with Karuna Care, and she's a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 3. And today, Sukhavaha will be speaking on the topic, Revealing the Heart, discovering what covers our heart and soul. And just a little bit about this before we hear from her. So together, we're going to discover and name some of the layers of protection that are piled on top of our soul. And although these layers may have helped us survive our childhood and youth, in our adult life and our spiritual life, they begin to feel suffocating to our soul. So thank you so much, Sukhavaha, for being with us today. The floor is yours.
There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us, coming. And I'd just like to say a little short prayer. Dear Lord Krishna, please, you are in our heart, always guiding us. Please help us to open our hearts and open our minds and to hear what you might want to reveal to us through this class. Thank you very much. Haribo. So, I'd like to say that I assume, maybe I'm wrong, but I assume that all of us have some sense that we are a part of the bigger whole of God, and that we are a soul and we are made of the same essence as the Supreme. And so, because the Supreme Lord, who I personally call Krishna, is the essence of love, we also have that love inside of us. Why don't I feel it all the time? What's going on here? What is happening that I can't be the loving soul in all of my exchanges? What's going on here? So I want to give a little visual because I'm a visual person, and sometimes it helps to see. So first of all, this little lady, I hope you can see, she has eyes. This is our soul, very tiny. We're a very tiny part of the Lord, and we're vulnerable, and we come into this world, and this world is a world of of duality. This world is a world of temporariness, which means it's not eternal. It's not real in the sense that it's lasting. So it's temporary. And in our scripture, in the scripture I read, Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a quote that when we came into this material world, because we are a part of the Lord, we're part and parcel of the Lord, and we have that quality of love, and we are naturally related to the Lord. To come to this world, to be in this world of temporariness, we need to we start out with a layer of covering that we're not part of the Lord. We have to be covered in order to come into this world because it doesn't match up. We can't remember that we're part of the Lord and be here. It doesn't work. So we get covered initially, and the first layer is the sense of death and the fear of death, because if we're soul and we're eternal soul, we can't live in the world of duality of birth and death unless we have some sense of death, that there is a death and that this is not eternal. So that sense of, or that fear of death, and that even a denial that we're a part of the Lord covers us when we first come here. So this is the first covering. I'm going to put that covering on. So that little soul gets covered as soon as it comes here to this world. Here she is. She's covered. Now, this soul covered by the initial layer of illusion gets born into a family. And in that family, different things happen. Our parents do the best that they can to raise us, but they raise us the way they were raised. And most parents aren't highly emotionally developed, so they may not really know how to care for us. And even if they do know how to care for us, something happens in our life which is uncomfortable. It could be our first babysitter. It could be a new sibling. It could be someone dies or someone's sick. It could be that we have to go to the hospital very young. These things are overwhelming for a little child's brain. Overwhelming. We can't figure it out. It could even be abuse or neglect. And we can't figure it out. It's like so overwhelming. And we try to figure it out. And if things keep getting repeated, we start to determine. It's our soul saying, hey, this isn't really eternal. There's something that's not right here. But as a little child, of course, we don't know the bigger scope that we're a soul and all that. So then we get covered with a layer. We start making things personally, and something's not right becomes something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And this is our pained persona number one. Something is wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm unlovable. Something's wrong with me. We cover up our confusion and our unknowing with some layer of, okay, well, I know that maybe I'm not okay. Something's wrong with me. But we don't like that. That doesn't feel very good. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not accepted. I'm not loved enough. We don't like that. That doesn't feel very good. So we immediately adapt and we compensate and we put on another covering. This is a protective manager. We put on the protection to prevent any pain from coming our way because we don't like that pain. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. That doesn't feel good. So we put on a protective layer of I'm going to be really good. I'm going to do whatever you tell me. And we start looking for validation and understanding outside of ourselves, usually mostly from our parents or caregivers. And we start developing this persona that goes around life protecting the pain by being good. But then, of course, we're little and we're kids and we make mistakes and we do things and somebody yells at us and ouch, that hurts again. Now, when we grow a little bit, we start to go to school, and this is a whole nother experience for this little child brain. How am I gonna, how do I relate to other little kids and look what they're doing? They seem better than me and they seem smarter than me, and oh my gosh, and start looking at everybody and comparing myself. And so we have another layer, and this layer is called the comparing persona. We start looking around and comparing ourselves to everybody else because the I'm not good enough bleeds through, and I'm not as good as they are. They're better, they're smarter, they're prettier, they're more popular. All of that starts to cover us. And of course, that doesn't feel good either. So now we have to compensate and put on something else that makes us, I'm going to prove how good I am. I'm going to prove that I'm as good as other people. I'm going to prove it. Oh, I'm going to put her, I'll hold her up. I'm going to be really smart. I'm going to get really good grades, or I'm going to be really athletic, or I'm going to be really nice. I'm just going to be really nice to everybody. I'm going to be really quiet so nobody notices me. I'm going to go in the corner so nobody notices me, and then nobody will hurt me. And so we compensate. And we go through life, and these different personas play out at different points in our life. Then we come to kind of like another identity crisis. I call them identity crisis, where we're kind of now we're a teenager that has all its confusions. Growing up is not easy, but it gets really hard when we need to move away from our family of origin. Now that could happen, sometimes it happens earlier. Some people leave home when they're 14 or 16. Most people don't leave home until they're 17 or 18. Some people leave earlier. But when we leave home, and some people go to boarding schools when they're younger, 14. So when we're away from our familiar family, oh my gosh, now what do I do? This is a whole new experience. It's overwhelming. How do I manage this? And we feel very confronted. This is the confronted persona. And we have to figure out once again, how am I going to survive this pain of not knowing what to do, being confronted, being confused? How do I manage life? Oh my gosh, I got to do these classes. Oh my gosh, I got to get up on time. Nobody's waking me up. I got to figure that out. I got to figure out what I'm going to eat. And am I eating enough? I don't have anybody to tell me I need to eat. All these things confront us. And so to survive this identity dilemma, we have to fix this pain. So we take on another persona, and this persona is the producing persona. Here's where we produce results. We become really good at producing results, and it could be any different kind of results. It could just be in one field, it could be in many fields, but we produce some kind of a result that makes us feel, okay, I can manage this. It's not too overwhelming. Now, all these compensations for all the pain that we experience in our life, these are all protective mechanisms, and they're very helpful. They help us survive our childhood. I'm gonna move this table really quickly. they help us survive our childhood. And now we're kind of an adult and we survive and we've survived. And yet there are things in life that still ruffle us, that still upset us and disturb us. And, why are things upsetting me? And we see these things as problems in life. Oftentimes we see ourself as the problem. We tend to shame ourselves. Now, most of these layers have some elements of shame to them. And they also have some sense of denial to them. Because obviously we're denying our connection with the Lord that's deep inside. And with the first pain persona, now we have to deny that and cover that with the protecting manager. And then the comparing persona, now we have to cover that and pretend, no, I'm secure, I'm good, look at me. And then when we're confronted in the world, we can't let everybody know how overwhelmed we feel. We got to cover that. So we deny a lot of our pain. But it pops up, it comes up when somebody says something or does something, it pops right out. And we react because we're trying to protect ourselves from this pain. It's natural, it's normal, and the Lord gave us these protective mechanisms so that we can survive. So we've survived. We've survived our life. But these are all just fixes. These are all fixes, denying the reality of who we really are deep inside. Now, this can feel really disconcerting. However, the pain of carrying around all these personas, it starts to feel kind of heavy. Starts to feel a little heavy as we get older. Starts to feel a little heavy. I don't know. Yeah. And so, and sometimes we compensate for all the heaviness we feel with spirituality, with the spiritual path. Now we're going to put on the ultimate fix. Now I'm going to become a spiritualist. I'm going to, join a tradition, and I'm going to become really good. I'm going to become super good because I'm now connected to the truth and to the Lord. And I am going to just really, that's going to fix everything. But it's actually can be an external covering to hide all of this. So, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't depress anybody here. The good news is that the good Lord has given us access to healing no matter when we start, no matter how old we are. I didn't start until I was 48 myself. And I took care of a godbrother who was in his 60s, and he was dying of terminal cancer, and he didn't break out of some of these things until like an hour before he left his body. However, we always have a chance to shift. Every day is an opportunity for us to look deeper. Now, we can't just quickly rip all these layers off because we become attached to them because they are our protective mechanisms. So we're not just going to obliterate them to get down to that soul. Let's just take a sledgehammer and just smash all these illusions or of who we think we are that we aren't. We need to gently and gradually and compassionately start to peel the layers. Now, the big thing about these layers is they give us some sense of identity, because as a tiny soul, we really don't know who we are and what our eternal relationship with the Lord is. We really don't know. And we need something to function in this world. It's kind of like software programming. You can have a computer, you can have a laptop, and you can, if it's not broken, you can plug it in and turn it on. And if nothing happens, there's something missing. What would be missing? The software programming. So we all need some software programming. We need programming in order to function in this world. So these are just different levels of, they're like apps. They're different levels of applications helping us to function and navigate in this world. Kind of like a, you know, I don't, you aren't men, but some people play games online, and then you have to get a character, because you can't play a game if you don't have a piece or a character. So these are like our pieces and our characters that we've developed. And we do get attached to them because they're our security. But little by little, we want to start unpeeling, but we want to understand what these layers are. These are layers of, there's a lot of layers of shame and a lot of layers of proving. And, not knowing who we really are and coming to this big, confusing, overwhelming world. Yeah, what do we do with that? So, we start, the good Lord gave us protective mechanisms to survive. And we start to pile on these layers as armor so we don't get hurt. However, some of our armor, armor, it's hiding our shame, but it's not healing our shame. We still feel, I'm not good enough. We still feel, oh, they're better than me. We still feel these feelings. And these feelings of shame and pain are great motivators. They motivate us. Oh, wow, my goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good. I wonder what's going on here. I wonder if there are some reasons and some answers to this. And a lot of times, we take on spirituality as the ultimate answer. That's it. I got the answer. When I became an initiated devotee in the Krishna Bhakta tradition, I thought, that's it. I got the answer to all my questions. And I became a fanatical devotee, and I thought I was good. I thought I was fixed. However, there was still pain coming up, and when menopause hit me, that's when all the buried pain, all the pain that I had suppressed and squeezed inside poured out, and I couldn't control it. It was very disconcerting. So here I am, all the pain's coming up all at once, and I thought I had the ultimate fix. And so little by little, I started now being a little more curious and looking at how to peel the layers. So first of all, we want to recognize that we have layers, and that it's not bad that we have layers, and we're not bad that we have layers. it's normal that we have layers. And these layers aren't our authentic, deepest, truest self. They're not our deepest, true, authentic self. So how can we be able to peel a layer? Well, peeling the first layer might mean being a little vulnerable and taking off that protective cover of I've got the absolute truth and I am perfect. Not. And it feels a little vulnerable. But I still got my strong stuff out here. But what am I pretending? What am I hiding? Well, I'm pretending that I have it all together, but I'm hiding that actually I'm pretty confronted. I'm not really sure. I don't trust myself, maybe. So, we have the opportunity each day to be a little vulnerable, at least first with ourselves. How do we be vulnerable? One simple way, which is very safe, is to journal, is to write down what's going on. What am I feeling? What am I needing? What am I believing? What am I believing? And is that really true? Is it really true? Well, it's not always true. It's not absolutely true. Is it really true? Could I put that to the side for a minute? Could I take off that layer and just put it to the side for a little bit? And when we write and start expressing what's inside of us, we can start to hear the different voices. We can hear the voices of the pain. We can hear the voices of the anger. And usually anger is a secondary emotion covering our pain. So when I was little, I had a brother that was 2 years older than me. And he was a little upset that I came into the world because he used to be the center of the universe, and now I came into the world. And he was older and bigger, and he used to punch me and hurt me. And so how did I compensate? I became really strong and really tough. And I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. But I couldn't hurt him physically. So I didn't discover until probably I was 58, maybe, that some truth about some of the lies I had told myself. I had told myself that my brother was hurting me, that my brother was the cause of the problem, and my mother who yelled at me, they were the cause of the problem. And I didn't realize that I added a lot of meaning to the fact that my mother yelled and my brother punched me. I made up a story because in this world, we make up things as we go along. Because what do we know? Nobody's explaining everything to us generally. So I made it mean that I am unlovable. Wow, I'm unlovable? That hurts so much. Because I want to be loved, and I'm not that bad, am I? So I had to compensate by getting good grades. So my mom would give me a little pat on the shoulder so I would be accepted and loved. So each day we have an opportunity to look at what am I hiding from myself? What am I denying about myself? What am I telling myself that may not really be the full truth? Because the full truth is way deep down inside that we're a loving part of the Lord. We have all that. And we kind of know that. We kind of know that. That's why sometimes it's really hard for us to accept that we've got some things that don't look so good on the outside. So we can journal, we can write, we can start expressing our emotions, we can look at the anger. The one big thing we really want to do in all of this, a very important part, we really need to understand how we shame ourselves, how we beat ourselves down, how we make ourselves wrong, how we tell ourselves things that hurt us, how we hurt ourselves, how we self-sabotage. This is the shame, and we carry it deep inside of us. I'm not good enough. I'm unlovable. That feels pretty hurtful, pretty shameful. I must be just so shameful. And so, shame, there are three things that keep our shame in place: judgment, secrecy, hiding it, and, see if I can remember the other one. Judgment, secrecy, and I forget the third one. Oh my gosh, I didn't even write it down. There are three things that we believe. If I hide it, it's going to go away. If I push it down, it's going to go away. If nobody sees it, out of sight, out of mind. And it doesn't go away. It eats away at us internally. It eats away at us emotionally. It eats away at us physically. Physically, people get ulcers. They hold a lot of stress and tension in their stomachs. Sometimes men get heart attacks because they just keep everything pushed down inside of them. So shame stays alive by the lies we tell ourselves. And there's only one thing we need to heal that shame. It's called empathy. Empathy. Learning empathy, learning compassionate communication, learning, Marshall Rosenberg taught nonviolent communication, learning how to talk to myself nicely, learning how to treat myself as a little girl that needs acceptance, belonging, and connection. These are the ABCs of life. We need A, acceptance, B, belonging, and C, connection. We all need this. We all want this. And yet, we don't accept ourselves. There's parts of us we don't accept. And we don't feel like we belong, although sometimes we join different groups and clubs, and that helps us to feel a little belonging, but we don't allow certain parts of us to belong. We try to hide them, and we don't include them. And so we're not inclusive with the hurt, sad, pained parts of us. And we're not connecting to those hurt, sad, pained parts of us. We're not connecting, we're rejecting, we're compartmentalizing, we're hiding, we're squashing, squishing, which makes it more painful. However, the good news is that the pain can motivate us to do something. Now, my pain came after being in a movement for 30 years, and I thought I had it all together, and I was on top of the world. And when my little fragile glass house got shattered, I couldn't even glue it back together. I couldn't fix it. There was too many tiny shards, and they were sharp, and they were cutting me. So I kind of had to start from ground zero, which is not a bad place to start. But I was highly motivated. I was highly motivated to see what is going on here. What is all this pain? What am I doing? And we just need to ask ourselves some questions. What am I telling myself? What am I telling myself right now? If I'm angry or sad, what am I telling myself? Well, I'm telling myself, nobody cares. I don't matter. Nobody loves me. I'm telling myself, I'm blah blah, and stupid, and whatever I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself all kinds of things. And when I can see and bring into my vision what it is I'm telling myself, these subtle things, they're so subtle. That's why it's hard to understand. That's why I use the dolls, because you can see them. We want to give names to these parts of us. We want to connect with and talk to these parts of us. We want to get a deeper understanding. We can even reparent ourselves and parent the little parts of us that didn't get parenting when we were young, or didn't get the parenting that we wanted or needed when we were young. We can start being that for ourselves. And that empowers our soul to now be the loving part that it really is, and to kind of come out of hiding and start to talk to all these parts and say, yeah, you had a rough life. You had a rough childhood. Yeah, it was rough for you. Yep, that was really hard. That was not fun. And we come out, and the soul starts to be loving, kind, respectful, and give empathy to all those other parts. This, by the way, is the most powerful part that we have. And we all have this located in our heart. And we know that the heart is where love, everybody's putting hearts up, right? Heart is love, right? We're in the heart, and the Lord is in our heart with us. And this is the most powerful part. And when we empower this part to start loving all the other parts, to accepting those parts, to including them, to connecting with them, to understanding them, that empathy, that loving, kind empathy is an amazing balm which can heal us. Now we can say, there were so many things that happened in the past, and we can't change the past. The good news is that the good Lord gave us the ability to do things now, which can heal what happened then. It can heal those parts from then. It can heal them right now, today, one day at a time. That is the amazing healing power that the Lord gave us emotionally and physically. Even physically, there are many stories of persons who have miraculously recouped from terminal disease. And a lot of time it had to do with them healing their emotional parts. And even we can start to develop new neural pathways in our brain. The story, I'm not lovable, that pathway, it's like shrunk down in my brain. And I didn't compensate for it with no, I am lovable. I have other pathways that, oh, Krishna is so kind. He loves me and he made me whole and complete. And he didn't make a mistake. How can I find my wholeness right now? How can I align myself with that part right now? So these little hints, journaling, being a little aware, being conscious, practicing loving kindness and empathy for ourselves, watching when we're shaming ourselves and not shaming ourselves for shaming ourselves, but saying, oh, I'm hurting myself. I don't want to hurt myself anymore. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm doing the best I can. And then tomorrow, maybe my best is a little bit more than it was the day before. Little by little by little, we take steps. We exercise our emotional muscles. We exercise the muscles of empathy. And a lot of times we think we're not doing very much. But think of a child, a little child, baby, born, and they're laying there, and sometimes they'll reach out or move or stretch their arms. And then after a while, they learn how to turn over, and then they kind of get their strength. And then maybe they're on their hands and knees rocking back and forth. And maybe then they start to crawl. All of that looks like they're not really doing much. But of course, parents are so pleased when their child is doing this because these are big benchmarks. As adults, we don't mark the little steps that we're doing as benchmarks. We have the bar so high, it's like, all right, well, I'm not anywhere close to that, so I might as well give up. Forget it. We don't acknowledge and encourage ourselves with the little steps that we're taking, which are so important, because that's the only way anything shifts. It's by exercising muscles, little by little by little, practicing empathy, catching ourselves when we're shaming ourselves, catching ourselves when we're hurting ourselves, catching ourselves when we're disrespecting ourselves, catching ourselves when we're allowing others to disrespect ourselves. And this revelation of empathy and respect, when I got that revelation 23 years ago, my life changed. My life changed. I started being really kind to myself, and it changed everything little by little by little by little. So that is definitely the first step to really, how can I practice loving kindness? How can I practice empathy towards myself? Where can I go to learn empathy? Can I find a committed listener who can listen to me empathically? Can I find someone who won't judge me? Can I speak to someone like that? That exercise and that practice over and over and over and over again, it heals the little parts of us, the child inside that was so hurt, that felt so sad. That part can heal and feel connected, and actually we can feel even proud that that part survived what it survived. We can really acknowledge that part and be amazed at how resilient that part was to come so far in life. So this is just kind of opening up a little door, and I just want to encourage everybody. When I started doing the internal work and the internal processes, my life shifted, and I got more in the few years after my glass house shattered than I had in the 30 years when I was walking around thinking I was a good devotee and I had it all together, pretending that I had it all together. And now I realize I don't have it all together. I didn't even remember the three things of shame, the three things. Secrecy, silence. Aha, I remembered it. Secrecy, silence, and judgment. Those are the three things. Thank you, Krishna. So, yeah, we don't have to be perfect. God is not looking for perfection. He's looking for our connection. And that means we need to connect to ourselves. Acceptance, A, belonging, B, C, connection. And now I'm handing it over to Damodar Priya. Haribo.
Oh, Haribo, thank you so much, Sukhavaha. I love that. God is not looking for perfection. He's looking for connection. And with that in mind, we are going to go into our breakout rooms, which is our opportunity to have some of that more intimate connection with some of the fellow participants here. I'm going to read our breakout questions aloud for those who will be watching this on YouTube with the recording later on. So the first question is, what one pained quality do you have that may cover your love? And the other one is, what one protective quality do you have that may cover your love? Okay. So welcome back, everyone. This is our Q&A, or questions and answers reflection section of Urban Davy. This is our opportunity to raise our virtual hands and just either ask questions of Sukhavaha, or we can also give our reflections. And we actually have a question to start, Sukhavaha, from Rukmini Devi Dasi, Rukmini Walker, who had to leave early. And I put it in the chat as well. So I'm just going to read it aloud so you can hear it. So she said, a pained part is being irritated. A protective part is being impetuous. So her question is, what about being oblivious, or just not seeing how I am covered, or covering myself, or harming myself for others? So would you be able to answer that question?
Yeah, oblivious is a protective mechanism. Denial, numbing, oblivious. I see no pain, I feel no pain, and so those parts, that's the part that covers us the most. Here I am, I'm a good devotee, I'm oblivious that there's anything going on inside of me. Completely oblivious. That was me for decades, oblivious. And so, however, Krishna designed the body and the mind that the pain seeps out. And generally, when the pain gets to be too much, that's when we start thinking, well, what's going on here? Why am I in pain? Why am I suffering? And that's when we look closer. So I don't know if that answered everything. Did it answer everything? Oblivious is a
I'm not sure.
protective.
Yeah, yeah,
Oblivious
she
is
put
a
it all in
protective
there.
mechanism.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
she was talking about
definitely
being oblivious and being covered and
it's protective. It's the denial. I'm
Mhm.
fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine, fine, fine. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sukabha.
Okay.
And Kladini, Devi Dasi, you have your hand up. Please go ahead and share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sukhavaha. Um, I I I joined the call just a little bit late, so I'm sorry if you've already covered this. This was really helpful, just going through just even the one paint quality and one protective quality that may cover my love, which made me realize that there is work that I still need to do, because I have done some work. And then when you were speaking, my first thought was, okay, but what if I've done work and now I'm moving forward? And then when I reflected on the questions you asked, I was like, okay, there's definitely still work to be done, which is, of course, why I'm here. I guess the question is, do you reach a point where now there's no work to be done, like there is complete healing, or the protective quality or the pain qualities are going to be there? It's just that you just manage them better. What is the end state that I should expect?
Yes. Um, wanting an end state and wanting an end to any pain is definitely part of this world of duality. like point A, point B, completion. So, because we are alive and real and we're eternal and we're souls, we are going to be in relationship. That's our quality. That's what bhakti's about, relationship, right? Is there ever a point in relationship where you can just completely go unconscious and I got it all handled and I fixed everything? Someone's going to say something or do something and you're like, oh, what was that about? Why did I? So so it's an ongoing process, and it's learning how to dance, like you said, managing the emotions. And some of the stories and the pain, they get smaller and they don't scream as loud. However, when we first start working, they might scream really loud. They might scream super loud because don't peel these layers. Oh my gosh, this is your protection. Don't take it off. Nuh-uh, don't do it. And then we don't. But when the pain outside gets so much more, it's like, I have nothing to lose by looking at this pain inside. But there is really no end to relationship. And so there's no end to being conscious and aware. What's going on for me? I wonder why they said that. Could I ask them in a nice way? It's like fine tuning, fine tuning, fine tuning. Even you see in our tradition, the saints, they're always fine tuning out. When will that day be mine? Hey, didn't they get there yet? Aren't they there already? Why are they still asking that question? Come on. Because it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The love gets deeper. And then there's deeper pains that are, does that make sense? There is no end. And some of the chatter voices get quieter, or we can recognize them a lot quicker. Oh, yeah, I know you. Hi. And sometimes we have life things that we're going to work on our whole life. So mine is anxiety, so I deal with anxiety. Yeah, it's there. And I say, hi, but I don't get an anxiety that I'm in anxiety. It's like, maybe you didn't notice. I was kind of in anxiety in the beginning, but not too much, but a little bit, little anxiety. And then I forgot the three things. I was like, oh my gosh. Right? Good thing we're not looking for perfection.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sukhavaha, and thank you, Hladini, Devi Dasi, for opening your heart and sharing that with us. And Cersei, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about like how is it that we can trust ourselves to open up to people if we've been dealt so much pain in relationships?
Very important
'Cause
question.
I want to connect with people, but then at the same time I'm like I can be such a hermit sometimes and I don't like to let people into my space.
Yeah.
So trusting people
Yeah.
to people are gonna hurt us, but how do we do it? How do we do
Well,
this?
just the statement, people are going to hurt us, that statement controls you. Not all people are going to hurt you, and not all people want to hurt you, and people may hurt you inadvertently, but it's not like the absolute truth that people are going to always hurt you. Like 24/7, everybody's going to hurt you. But your nervous system had that experience. And so for you, that was really the truth when you were little. That was really true. And so, yeah, you got the protections up. So the important thing is, maybe you can journal a little bit. That's a safe thing. However, if you can find someone who can listen and hear and that you can trust won't judge you and won't hurt you. Now, the other thing is too, opening up and talking about your hurt also hurts. So I don't want to talk about my hurt, because that hurts. So I don't want to hurt myself. And so I'm not going to talk about it. There's all kinds of things that go on. I don't know. Was that helpful at all, Circe?
Yeah, I think I'm also realizing that maybe the pain comes from people leaving.
Ah,
Yeah, which is
yeah.
interesting because I live in ashrams and I leave all the time.
And you
Like,
leave before everybody else leaves because I'm going to
yep,
leave so they don't leave me.
yep,
Yes,
yep,
absolutely. That's your protective mechanism.
yep. 100%.
Perfect. So it's great that you could see that and understand that. And then that you just get that's part of the wiring. It's part of how you got wired when you were young. And there's
Mm,
nothing wrong with that. However, that wiring affects your life a lot. It impacts your behaviors. It impacts, where you stay and how long you stay. It in fact impacts your relationships. It impacts your experience of life. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So just seeing that, that's a big realization. That's a big step right now in this moment.
Mm.
Did you ever say that before? Did you ever have that realization before, kind of?
Yeah, I think I'm just also like part of me has come to terms with, okay, I leave people first before they can leave me. And
Uh-huh.
then another part of me is like, okay, come on, like let's get past this. Like,
That little
where are you
part
gonna
of you,
live? Like, are you just gonna keep traveling everywhere? Like, it's not very
that
feasible to do
that
that.
little part of you needs some attention.
Yeah,
That pained part of you needs some love.
yeah.
Yeah, she needs
Thanks.
she needs some love because
Mm.
otherwise she can't do it by herself. She needs love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Um, internal family systems is really helpful. Talking to those
Mm,
pained parts of us. Yeah, there's a lot of healing modalities out there. I think Krishna flooded the market with healing modalities because he loves us so much.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you, Cersei, for being so vulnerable with all of us and letting us celebrate your vulnerability and your willingness to kind of look at those pain parts of yourself. So if anybody else has any questions, please raise your virtual hand. I do have an anonymous question that was sent. So they mentioned Hare Krishna Sukhavaha. Uh, you mentioned while you were talking that also sometimes we need to be careful about allowing others to hurt us, which I guess seems in line with Cersei's
Yeah,
question as
yeah.
well. So how
Mhm.
can we be compassionate with others if we're trying to keep them from hurting us?
Well, that is compassion. If someone's actually hurtful and you creating a boundary protects you, it protects them from hurting other people, which isn't good for them either. So, boundaries is the distance at which I can love me and you at the same time. That's compassion. Compassion isn't just being compassionate to you and not to me. I need to also be compassionate to me and say, no, thank you. This doesn't work. And then that's not allowing you to hurt at least this person. You might hurt somebody else, but I can't control that. I can only say no, thank you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they just wrote that they had never heard boundaries described that way as a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
to kind of keep yourself. Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, it seems like that really resonated with them as well.
Good,
And
great.
I see that Helena has her hand up. Helena, please go ahead and share.
Uh-huh.
Hello, thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Um, my question is like the more that we delve into, so like I've started doing IFS stuff,
Uh-huh.
and the more that I delve into it, the more parts there are and the more overwhelmed I become. And sometimes
Ah,
it's really there's a lot of aversion to keep going because
yes, yes,
though
yes, yes.
it's it's such hard work, and I even the same with Bhakti, like sometimes it just feels like hard work, and I'm not finding like the joy enough. There has to be some joy at the same time in order to like keep
Yes.
things light. So my question is on like how to simultaneously keep it light, even though we're what to do.
We're addressing deep parts of us that So are you doing IFS by yourself, or no,
I have a guidance,
Okay. All right. Take it slow, and if you need a little break, take a little break. It's not like you have to plow through it. It's not like we got to get there fast. Speak with the part that's the least triggered first, and make friends with that part first. Don't go to the deepest, darkest corners and try to the part that's been with us the longest, it's gonna have the most resistance because it's been there the longest, and it's gonna fight, and then it's gonna seem like more work. Take the part that's a little easier to deal with and work on that. That would be my suggestion. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And if you need a break for a week or two, just say, hey, I need a break, and go out and have fun, Go play some pickleball or something. I don't know, do something different rather than like, I gotta get through this. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Helena. And we actually got a question in the chat before we call on Surbi Govinda that is similar to the anonymous question that I just got. So in the question in the chat, it was said, you mentioned internal family systems. Is there a book related to this? What healing modalities do you recommend? And then the anonymous question that we got was, how can they follow up with you after this? Like, do you offer services and similar things?
Okay. So first of all, the book on IFS that I like is called No Bad Parts, by Richard Schwartz, he's the one who designed internal family systems. So that's a good book. As far as myself, what I tend to do and what I like to do, I have books that I wrote, which describe much more in detail what I just did in 45 minutes here. And I have book reading classes, and I like, people to join the class, because if you come regularly, you're regularly hearing things, but you're not necessarily, doing the deep work on yourself. If you don't want to, you can just kind of like, follow the flow. I am going to be starting a new book reading class soon, but I do have a couple that are already activated. And then for the book reading classes, when I get to know the person a little bit more, I then sometimes I'll do a one-on-one once in a while. I don't mind doing one-on-one, if somebody's in really desperate need, but I don't like to get myself wrapped up in that, because it really can be time consuming. Right now I have 8 book reading classes a week and 2 Karuna Care classes a week, and I have to mow my own grass and stuff like that. So, and take care of my consciousness. So, if people want to get a hold of me, they can go on my website, they can look at my books, they can send me a message on the contact form, and then I can, they can say, I met you at the class. My website is aheartconnection.com, aheartconnection.com. And so then you can, say, hey, I was on the Urban Devi, and I'd like to, maybe, connect, and then we can see how that goes, like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Sukhavaha. And we'll make sure to also share your website in our WhatsApp groups after Urban Devi, as well as any follow-up emails that we do.
Yeah, and the books are all listed in the website too. And if you want a paperback, you fill out the contact form. Most of you maybe are in America, and then I can send you the books if you want. If you want, yeah. Go ahead.
Great. So we'll definitely have that for people to follow up with. And Surbi Govinda, you had your hand up.
Please. Yes, I want to say, Sukhava, that this was an amazing talk. You know, I was, excuse me.
I didn't feel it was good enough.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. In our group, we were just so taken back at how you explained how you did the story and really revealed so many layers that about our own selves and how we work on those. I think that we were all just kind of in awe, and that we were able to go into a session with strangers and talk about our pain and protection. So it was really incredible. You have a gift for sure. Your authenticness and your just being yourself, very, very admirable. So thank you. Very pleased. I was also taken, I was very pleased that you spoke about how it's an internal work, and you mentioned it again. We have to deep work on ourselves because you know, after raising 3 children and going through all this in life and going into my 60s, I realized that that's what I had to do. I had to be a parent to realize that my parents weren't at fault, that they just did their best, as you said. I had to be the parent to myself, and I could then understand them. It was just, it's that simple, really. And we often look for answers of some things that we remember, and rightly so, that as a child, we don't really remember it fully. It's just what we took away, right? And we've embedded this illusion or a perception.
Yes.
A self-perception that is so, the belief, and it's become like part of ourselves and our identity. But and you explained that so well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not heard that. I couldn't put it into my words until today. So thank you. And I think what I'm going to take away is be parent to ourselves. You know, it's not, a parent is somebody who cares, and everybody means well. We're all fallible, as Krishna says.
Yes.
And this was, so, you know, I'm just so happy that you spoke about this. Like, thank you so much, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish you could do more and multiply yourself and add your work to Karuna Care. I don't know, so other people can benefit.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's, you know, really, it really takes time. I mean, I have people in reading classes and they ask a question. I say, if I could give you a 5-minute answer to your question, that would be great. But I can't quick fix all these things. I have to keep saying it over and over and over and over. So my book reading classes, they will last a year because we're going to read both of the 2 books. It's a series, you know, finding the gap and entering the gap. It's a 2-part finding the gap and entering the gap. And if you think I just explained it well in this class, which I don't know if I did that great of a job, but in the books it's described a lot more in detail. And it really, because, you know, it's just such an overwhelming topic, and it's just so vague, and it's just so subtle, and it's just so, we don't even know what we're telling ourselves. So to become aware of it, you know, I break it down into a lot of different pieces, so I can just, okay, all right, okay. It's a little small enough that I can deal with it. Otherwise, it is overwhelming. It's like, where do I start?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I always get surprised when people like what I say. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's good.
Yes. So again,
I don't know what I'm doing.
No, Krishna is working through you. The Lord is working through you. So that energy is there. And I just want to extend my thanks on behalf of Rukmini Devi Dasi as well, who had to leave early. She was very sad. She's looking forward to the recording because she wants to see all of our reflections and questions. But thank you so much, Sukhavaha, for taking the time to be with us, for sharing your wisdom, and also being vulnerable with us and sharing your story in such a way. So I just want to invite everyone to give your feedback to Sukhavaha, via the link that shows up in our chat, and you're also going to get an invitation when Urban Devi's at the finished to give your feedback to the speaker. But I also want to invite you to our next Urban Devi. So please put it down on your calendar. Our next one is July 26th, and we're going to have Chitti Shakti Devi Dasi. speaking on boundaries before a breakdown in bhakti. So perfect after your talk today.
Perfect,
right?
perfect.
So she says, in your enthusiasm to be as much service as possible, do you find that you've lost your balance? Do you struggle to find time for your spiritual practice and self-care amidst how much you have to do? When you say no, do you feel selfish? Despite doing so much, do you find yourself unseen and undervalued? The session will explore what boundaries are, why they are necessary for spiritual growth, and how they can facilitate a better life and service. And for those who don't know Chiti Shakti, she's a dynamic leader. She's a disciple of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. She's been practicing Krishna consciousness for over 30 years. She is a member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, Spirituality and Psychiatry. And she's just combines like 25 years of experience in science as well as Krishna consciousness. So I definitely recommend that you all join us. And also Rukmini wanted me to invite all of you to 2 upcoming retreats that are coming up very soon where she'll be speaking. She's going to be part of an October women's retreat called Curious Hearts. And that's going to be from Thursday, October 1st to Sunday, October 4th. And that'll be in Maryland, in Potomac, Maryland. And that will be hosted by ISKCON of DC. So we'll also share the link to that in the chat, and we'll also be sharing that in our WhatsApp groups. And then also, as always, she's going to be co-hosting with her dear son, Gauravani, an India retreat in January of 2027. And that'll be from January 10th to January 24th at Govardhan Eco Village, which is an amazing opportunity to spend time with her and Gauravani, as well as many other speakers who will be sharing their wisdom and their knowledge and their joy in so many different ways. We have so many ladies who from Urban Devi who had participated, and they're actually doing a new format for this upcoming year where you can do it in modules. So if you can only do 1 week, you can sign up for just 1 week, or you could do the whole 2 weeks. So I've put the websites in the chat, and we hope that you can join us either for Urban Devi in July or for some of these retreats that are coming up. So thank you again, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much, Sukhavaha. Thank you to my co-hosts, and thank you to every single person who was here today, as well as thank you to our dear Rukmini, who without her, this would not be possible for us to have this virtual sacred space together, as well as Radha and Krishna, the Lord, who is always looking out for us. Okay, Haribol.